painting live stream of Super Fancy Brawl. This time on the painting table is Nikkit. Let's zoom in a bit more. I really enjoy this character. He's very situational, or they are very situational. It's actually it's going to be fun to paint. We've got 3 little goblins, I guess you could call them. That's where you can see all their hands that make up this kind of character, and which is really cool. But the way that Nikkit works in terms of gameplay is he works off having no particular cores of cards in your discard pile. So, for example, the 3 that we're talking about is this red card, which is attack card. It's pretty good already. It's got a bit of movement to start with. A direct shot, 2 damage. But if you've got no red cards in your discard pile, it gains +2 damage. And then also after the attack, it's a push 1. So it's got some manipulation there, which is always really useful in this game. Blue-wise, we've got indirect of 3. So huge amount of range, no movement. However, you've got swoop 2. So no green boot movement, but you've certainly got movement with swooping, which you can swoop over statues or whatever it might be. So this is quite good to get into position, and then you're hitting for 2 damage. And again, if there are no blue cards in your discard pile, then it gains a stun, the opponent that you're attacking. And then the final one, which is the yellow core version, still movement, direct of 3, massive range, 2 damage. So these are good range. Nikkit's got very good range. Look at that picture, awesome. If there's no yellow cards in your discard pile, this card gains +1 damage, so it's 3 damage and lifesteal. That's really, really strong. Yeah. Alright, again, situational. It's good that it's yellow. It gives you +1 in your defense. If the attacker is adjacent to the target, it gains +3 instead, so that could be really big. So potential good, but with so much more. Burning Wrath, which is, again, really good range. And I think that's the thing with Nikkit. People don't realise his range. The target champion suffers 1 damage and gains +2 until the end of turn. This may be target Nikkit's allies. So, because of the range, that could be really, really strong because it's +2 until the end of the turn. Now, you do damage one of your champions, of course. And you can damage yourself as well. So, potentially playing something like this, where you deal yourself that 1... I think you can... No. Target Nikkit's allies. Sorry, can't target himself. But it's quite good to boost up. Let's say you've got someone with double. You shire this onto them first, and then you see how it goes. This is how you get those cards from your discard pile back into your hand, so you can trigger those cards, is you shuffle all cards blue from your discard pile back into your deck and heal 2. So it's a way of getting your discard pile back into your hand, which can be quite good situationally with your characters anyway. So, let's move on to the miniature, and let's start our painting. Anyone on the live stream who wants to chat about Super Fancy Brawl or painting in general, then please do. Right, okay, so we haven't got skin tone in this case. The little goblins have got grey skin. And I've got this new contrast paint, Vulpus Pink, which I'm going to use for quite a bit of the, if we have a little look, for quite a bit of the artwork here, and all this stuff here will be this Vulpus Pink. And then we got this Camo Green, Creed Camo it's called, which I'm going to use on all the green. So I think I'm going to start with the goblins themselves, with standard Basilicanum Grey, which is always a great paint to use. And we're going to go straight into these. Now I'm going to repaint for the eyes, so don't worry about this. This has been primed with, as always, with Wraithbone spray from Citadel. I want to zoom in a tiny bit more. Okay, so it sounds like a lot of people in the US are now getting their copies of Super Fantasy Brawl Round 2, which is good to hear. They've had to wait a while. And already some fantastic painting that we've seen on social media and so forth from people on this. Such a fun game to paint. That's actually great. Oh, there are his ears. Okay, cool. And then I guess this is the top of the head. Oops. Yep. Great miniatures again. The detail. Love these miniatures. Really fun to paint, and they got great detail into them. So the hope is that I can finish off all of round 2 in the next kind of month or so. We're looking at like red. And they got like boots on, I think. Hard to see with the art, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm gonna say they're boots. Okay, let's go with the third and final. I'll call them goblins. They remind me of goblins. This one's got a bit of a sad face. It looks like a bulldog. I'm not saying all bulldogs have sad faces, but you know. And I've recently just painted up. Hello. Any word on round 3? Not to my knowledge, no. I don't think it'd be round 3. I think it'd be season 2 before round 3. So round 2 is extra characters, but still using all the same kind of, I guess, ideas and rule sets from season 1, from the original Kickstarter. So round 2 isn't a new season. It's just an extension of the first one. So I don't think we'll see round 3. I think we'll see season 2, which could mix it up completely again, which would be quite cool. But I think we have to wait and see how popular it becomes at retail first before Mythic really decides on how to support Super Fantasy Brawl fully. There we go. So there's my 3 gobbos. Now their hands, or I should say, it's their hands that are controlling it, but but they are the actual hands of this weird creation that they've created. So yeah, there was certainly when it was round 2 was being released and everything else, or Kickstarter, I should say, there was a lot of talk about the characters coming out periodically, relatively frequently. I think they decided to do a kind of 3 packs, so they're going to hopefully come out with 3 champions on a semi-regular basis once the game starts hitting retail. So that should be good. So whether we'll get another Kickstarter, I don't know. It might just be retail. I know that was their original plan, but we just don't know about these things. There could well be another... So, Creed Camo's next, which is kind of like that green colour. And we're going to go in with... I mean, we've got loads of characters now, especially when you consider the combos between them. we've got loads of characters to play with now. So it's not a problem. I'm in no rush myself to get loads more characters coming through. I'm happy with the ones I've got. I mean, I was already trying loads of different combos with just the round 1 content rather than using this round 2 content. So, and I'm a bit of a sucker that I kind of want them painted before I play with them. So I haven't played with these in real life much at all. Will be, but not recently. Cool moustache. I'm happy with that green. That's a good green. So yeah, once everything's been delivered to retail and it started to do all that, then we will start to see, I'm sure, future plans for the game. Going in with these kind of tentacles, really, as they seem to be. Now, the hands are quite metallic looking, but I think I'm just going to go in straight pink. Yep. Right, all of this hair. Well, actually, no, not all this hair. Some of it's green, some of it... Oh, God, this is going to be... Okay. Right, they're all green. So these little tentacle things here. Oops. Are green. And then it looks like the cloak is green completely. Okay. This has got like a silver lining or a copper lining or whatever you want to call it. So it's gonna... I reckon we can do like a pink... Nope, we'll just do it green all the way. Makes life a bit easier. For sure. So I'm going to say that these tentacles on the back, this kind of hair, is going to be kind of mix, isn't it? It's a lot of green, it seems, which is fine. But I think these tentacles are also green as well. So relatively liberally with this green. As we go up towards... nice. This is my first time using this contrast color. And rather than the militarum green or militarum green or the warp lightning green, it's kind of like a in-between paint. So it's got a lot more green pigment compared to the militarum green, but not as bright as the warp lightning. Yeah, it's quite good. Quite pleased with that. Especially for like Rohan capes, which I've got some to paint now. I mean, this is going to be kind of like silver lined coat anyway. So that's why I've not gone straight to the edges or worried too much about that. Okay. So eyebrows next. Now I've gone against my usual way of working with contrast paints. I've gone with a darker tone rather than the pink. And the reason why is just if I make a massive mistake, I can just use some Wraithbone base paint to kind of like tidy it up before I go in with the lighter colour. So normally I would always do light colours first and then go into darker tones afterwards. Just doing it slightly different here. I'm trying to be pretty careful with this green. Judge Dredd, have you tried any of the new Army Speed Paint? I have not tried the Army Speed Paint. The problem is I've been so invested into Citadel contrast paints. I basically don't want to have to spend more money, if I'm being honest. And I really like the contrast paints. I've been so pleased with the kind of the result from them. Now the only problem is Games Workshop have upped their prices. So just for a can of normal Wraithbone spray, which for me is kind of essential with these paints, it's £14, 14 English pounds for just a spray can, which is pretty crazy. However, it gives such good results compared to the thing, and I'm really pleased with the contrast paint. So I don't think I will. At this stage, I don't think I'm going to be changing. But I've heard good things about the speed paints, and I think they are cheaper. So I guess if you're starting out painting, it might be the way forward. If you're starting out painting. Right, okay. So now we're going to do what from the art looks like all of these tentacles are going to also be green as well. I think they're a little bit thinner, the speed paints. I think that was people have said. And that doesn't mean that they don't cover as well. It's just a slightly different way. But I suppose they all have similarities, right? How about yourself? Have you tried the speed paints? Judge Dredd? lot of green in there, isn't there? Could just have done a blanket with a really big brush, a blanket green coat on all of this. But just to make sure it's looking right, I'm just going to do it individually, obviously. I say tentacles, I think they're vines. Hence the green colour. As I say, I might do the hands with a metallic base. Sure. Just one missed. Okay. So that's the tentacles done. They're tentacles as well, aren't they? Yep. So the last ones, these ones at the front. Sweeping around to the back. Oops. Sorry, is that off camera? Unfortunately, these are just a bit too big base for my holder, which is a bit of a shame. But they've got such big bases that you can relatively comfortably just hold them as is. Okay, so that's the green camo done. Yeah, I bought it recently and painted Tiny Epic Dungeons, but they're a lot smaller. How small is Tiny Epic Dungeons? I bet it's extremely small, isn't it? I'm just to ask, did you have Citadel contrast paints as well, or before, or was it literally just speed paints? And the next question is, do you have Super Fancy Brawl? Because it'd be really cool to see how they turn out with the speed paints. Now, just to talk about small miniatures, I'm currently painting these up for Joan of Arc. And they're really working well as well with the with the contrast paints. So I'm sure speed paints will be the same with those as well. Okay, I think we go straight into the Volupus Pink. Right. And I've decided I'm going to do metal for the hands. I'm going to do metal hands. So just normal pink for this. I mean, that's going to be metal anyway, but... do being a bit more careful with the pink now. Because I've just gone over that. So I'm just going to use a bit of water to right that mistake. But it's very angry. Going with that lip. And obviously those, but they're just drying at the moment. That's why I'm being a bit slow to get those done. Maybe we can paint that actually. It's got a decent amount of pigment, this pink. It's actually quite a lot redder than I thought it'd be. I think it's a bad thing. Okay. And again, I'll say it again, as I say it, I think, on every single video I've done. Immediate results. I love that about these paints, these types of paint. Just seeing your model take shape pretty much as soon as you've added the paint. So good. I've both and yep got SFB. We have played online just before the tournament started. You helped me get rid of the feel of the characters. Yeah. All right, cool. Oh, I'm glad the is that when I went through each character about kind of like how they played, as it were. I mean, there's nowadays there's so many good players from online on BGA that know the characters so well. So it's worth asking on Discord and stuff if you want to find out about different characters. They'll know more than I do about some of the characters. But yeah, I love the fact that they play so differently. You've got some tropes, I guess, which play similar, but there's so many differences as well, which makes it just really rich. And you can play lots of different characters. So what were your what's your favorite 3 characters to play if you don't get them banned? That's not easy to get up. I quite like that. I quite like that more pinkish look to him. I mean, what you can do, if you want to follow the art, and I don't know if I'm going to do this, I quite actually like this vivid pink. You can go over with something like Snakebite, not Snakebite, Skeleton Horde, over this pink, and it'll dull it down. I'm just really hopeful this comes out in retail relatively soon. It's due to be delivered, so that's going to really help the game and put it to its next level, as it were. I think that's all the straight pink I want to do, which is on the like headpiece. We'll come back to that pink once we've done the metallic. Now, the little dudes themselves. Everyone's got. Oh, okay, cool. Right. Is that supposed to be an ear? Oh. Okay. Right, we need to touch up some of this to make sure that it's following what it should be, as it were, from the art. So I'm using a bit of Wraithbone base, a little bit of water, thin it down, and this is an ear, so and then also on the insides, not that you can really see them, to be fair. They've got pink on the inside as well. Now they are kind of pink. If you have a little look, we've got some pink clothing going on as well, which I guess ties into the same idea. Okay. Yeah. Oh. And before it completely dries, I just realised I've missed off a bit there. While I've seen it. Cool. Okay. So let's move on to let's thin down that pink to get this kind of color here. So I'm going to bring that forward so you can see. So we're going to go back with that Volupus pink, and we're going to use some contrast medium. Central bit of kit. You obviously don't want to be using water with these paints because it stops it from activating and doing its job. So put in some of this Volupus pink into my palette, clean and brush, and then probably about the same, about also a bit more duller, so I'm actually going to go in with just one brush of Apothecary White in there as well, just so it looks quite a lot different to quite a bit different to the old rest of it. So Don't want to load up my brush too much. So this should be quite a faint pink. That's it. That's about it. So there's not a lot of this clothing showing, as it were. What's that one? Let's do that pink as well. In fact, there's some bit in the back there. There we go. So it's a little close done. So I think we're going to go straight onto the metal side of stuff now, before we move on to all of the rest of it. Although I have got that pink now. Yeah, while I've got this pink, I've got a little bit of that white still, the wraith bone. Sorry, I know it's not white, but it's off-white. And we're just gonna get this tongue out, pick out this tongue. Which is the pink part. And yeah, that'll do. And I've just realised the feet as well. I think these here, in here, are feet, so gonna come in with a little bit of this pink here and here. Too much paint on my brush there, so I'm just picking it back up again. Because we don't want that to be the same as the mouth. A bit more. That's better. We will do eyes and everything else in a bit. Okay. So let's go in with the metal, which is the vast. How's that? I reckon that's their hands. Okay. Which is grey. We'll see. That's fine. We're going to go with the Basilicanum grey again, just because at the back of these, I think this is their hands. So I'm just going to chuck in a bit of grey here. Okay. Okay, I'm happy with that. Actually, while I've got it out, let's do that ear, which I didn't realise wasn't here. And also, just this looks like it's grey as well. That doesn't make sense though. No, I'm not going to do that grey. Okay. So moving on to the metal. So I'm going to change my brush, just because because I don't want to ruin my Winsor & Newton. I'm going to go for Wait, it's really quite bright, isn't it? So because it's so bright, instead of using lead belch, I'm going to use Runefang steel, which instead of a base is a layer, but it works as well. Good old shake for metallic paints. And I've got my palette again, which I'm just checking the paint on. Make sure we use a little bit of water. Thin this down so it flows. And then going all over the hand. The gem I can sort out later. I can paint back over that. So just for ease of and speed, I'm just going to go over the whole lot. And these metallic paints will go over anything else, so any bits you kind of made a mistake on, the paint will come over that, so that's not a problem. Try not to go over that grey I've already painted. So this was a creature that the goblins had invented and created, which is really cool. I just love the idea behind Nikkit. The Sly, as he's called. Or she's called, we don't know. I don't suppose we know if it's if they are male or female. Oops, just went over the pink. Right, okay, that's not actually... Okay. And just being careful here because ultimately you've already painted the green. You don't want to go over that because that'll look a bit of a mess. Cool. Yeah, I can't wait to get these guys to the table and see them working in real life. As I say, I've played them on Board Game Arena a few times, but never played them in real life. So really looking forward to that. But I have a big painting queue, I suppose you can say, at the moment with X-Men, Marvel United, which, to be honest, I'm going to really power on through in the next couple of weeks and try and get finished, which would be cool. There you go, so you see the metal hands coming through now. and obviously they're not going to stay metal this color. This is just like a base basically for the contrast paints to go over to give that kind of metallic pink look that the art has. I need a bit more paint. That's a bit too much, but never mind. I just realised that I think the camera position is not perfect on this one. Ideally, you don't want to just see my hand. I think we'll do the teeth the same because they're not actual teeth. There's something these guys have made. So again, just getting over the metal here. Same for up there. I'm used to painting teeth in lovely kind of like white. It's weird painting them in metal. It's like Jaws. And the feet as well. Ooh. Now, we've also got... I don't actually know that's not metal. Right, okay. The trim of his coat is actually a kind of off-white. So we're going to have to go over that again. Right, next. While I've got... Switch back. While I've got this pink, which I mixed. And paint this bit pink, and also his tongue. It looks brilliant. Okay, and just to get a real nice kind of outline, I'm going to get some black Templar now. And with this, I'm just going to go right into the middle here. Then in the mouth. I think I'll do the same with the eyes. All right, we're gonna top of his head, so let's there we go. Okay, cool. Happy with that. Right, I think we better sort this cloak out, haven't we? It's not bad. It just needs properly smiting up. So back to that Wraithbone. I thought it was going to be metallic, so that's why I was not really too bothered about how it looked. But now I kind of regret that decision. And we're going to go in and retouch this up. It's all fine. And we're on, what are we on now? Time-wise, 52 minutes of live streaming. I chatted for the first couple of minutes, so still under an hour at the minute. Probably looking at about an hour and 15, hour and a half, including the base for a miniature. Ooh, that's terrible. So I'm just outlining this cloak now, just so when we put that off-white colour on. It's just in there, isn't it? Oops. Ah. Right. Fix, fix, fix. Okay. That's good. Happy with that. It's a bit neater. Right. I guess we can go straight on to the metallic parts now. Actually, well, I've got the white here. That sure that's dried by now. Okay, great model. The details, just let the brush do the work. And we'll do the eyes as well. Find my white paint that I just put on the palette. Okay. Bennett, what is it? Where's his eyes then? And the guy inside the top. Ah, that was a bit leaky. Is that teeth? No. Oh, it is actually. Okay. Okay, so let's get the pink on these now. Just have a little look. I think we'll do a kind of browny color and then the pinky color. Browny color and the pinky color. Okay. So obviously we've got the Vulpus pink for like the fingers and stuff, but for the kind of palms, I guess, of them, I'm gonna do Snakebite level 2 dark, Agros Dunes. Agros Dunes. I'm going to hit it in with some Agros Dunes. So let's start with the Agros. Paint pots, seriously. That's one reason to get speed paints. A little bit more paint in this. So a bit more quiet here. I'm just concentrating. Okay. Around to the back. And it's the whole of this. Getting there. It's really annoying about these paint pots. I've mentioned it on quite a few times before. And I know people have put them in dropper pots and stuff like that, but if I'm being lazy about it, I can't be bothered. That's when you get these different colours on it, it makes it start to look a lot better. It is looking cool. And again, if you're not super happy with a particular coat that you've done or something like that, you can always go over again. Oh my god! Oh, that's it. Oh, yeah, like that one, for example, will have to be done. So that's the Agros Dunes, which is the kind of brown metallic. Now we'll hit the Volupus Pink. Volupus Pink. That's the one. To do the fingers. Oh, actually, we need to tone that down a little bit. Bit of a thinner coat than that. That's quite extreme, isn't it? It is quite cool. I actually don't mind I do like the vibrancy of the contrast paints on metals, on the metallics. And I think this ties in better for its for the nature of the fact it's supposed to be this fantastical beast they've created. So this is just my color scheme a little bit. By all means, you can use something different. You can just do them gray or whatever you want. But yeah, I think this is a bit different. I quite like it. And just make sure I've not got much paint on my brush, because I really want that metallic color to kind of shine through. In the same light, I don't want kind of like just metal color. Very fun. Oh, that's good actually. Yeah, now I see it against the rest of it. It's it's pretty cool. Thanks, Apples. Is it Apples? I want to say. Yeah, he's coming along all right. Again, the beauty of using contrast paints, I guess, or speed paints, is that you can kind of see, okay, that's what it's going to look like immediately. Rather than have to wait. And this isn't the easiest one to paint, I guess. I guess the green was pretty quick to paint, but all this detailing has taken a bit longer than what might normally take for one of these miniatures. So Jacques Lebeau, for example, I think that was a little less time. I've got metal all over that, so that needs to be sorted. Like apples. Oh, okay, easy. Are you going to upload more SFB gameplay content in the coming future? Yeah. I wouldn't mind. Now the thing is, if it's gameplay content, What I might do is just do it two-handed, as it were. Because the people I play with, I won't have the infrastructure to film them or anything like that. But yeah, I might do a bit of two-handed playing soon, especially with the new characters. It'd be quite cool to see it. I wouldn't be able to do my solo mode. I think that would be just... I'm saying that. I could do as well, just to republicize that again and see. You know, it's a good little training mod. I mean, it'll use the core characters that I'll have to go against, but I don't think that's a problem. But at the moment, it's mostly painting. I got a lot of painting to do. And I'm playing some other games as well, like Tainted Grail. Which is taking up a decent amount of time, as you probably imagine. It needs to be purple as well. Cool. Hey, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. It's metallic and it's got a metallic look, but it's not too overpoweringly like silver or anything. Oh, hang on. You're gonna. What does one-handed and two-handed mean? Oh, sorry. What I meant is when I say two-handed, I mean I'll play both sides. So obviously it's a two-player game in its core. So I'll play two groups of three characters, but I'll play both sides. It's best is what I mean by that. Sorry. Okay. His teeth. Don't forget his teeth. Ah. Okay. He's looking pretty fun. Right, okay, so these edges of the cloak is a kind of very off-white, isn't it? So I think I'm just going to go with... It's off-white green, isn't it? Right, I'm going to go with that same camo, Creed camo even. But I'm going to really, really water it down. Oh, by the way, if you use like a palette and using contrast paints on it to mix or whatever, you can, it takes a little while to kind of grab hold of it. If you dig up a bit of it, because of the gel nature of it, it'll just pop off. so cleaning it is it's pretty easy. Yep, and one nice clean Anyway, so speaking of which, let's keep going. So now I'm going to move on to the green. I'm going to just put a little bit of green in there, smallest amount. And then just a fair amount of this contrast medium. Don't waste any. So we're talking about probably like about 3 parts to 1 of the contrast, which should just give it a tinge of green. Literally a tinge of green. Oh, just don't use too much paint. There we go. Perfect. Right, well, I'll check that. Right, eyes next. So the eyes of our guys are orange. So you've got the perfect, all right. Now, you can, I think you can, I've got this, which is a glowing green colour. Now, I'm pretty sure you can get a glowing orange one as well, but for this case, I'm just going to use Griff Hound Orange, which is a real nice bright orange, which should do as the do the trick for us. So let's have a little go at this next. So again, not too much paint because we want the brightness to come through. There we go. And then, of course, we need to do the gems. Metallic. Now, I don't want the metallic. That'll look a bit weird, especially when we come to the yellow. So we're going to need to go in with some more Wraithbone base. We're on at the moment, 74 minutes, so an hour and 15 minutes, pretty much. We need to do the base, of course, as well, but that won't take too long. The base really is quick. And we want to hit these gems with this white and get rid of that metallic look. Okay, same on the side. Interesting. Okay, hang on a minute. So this should be green. Just going to use the white while I've got it there to get that tentacle green. And that should be green as well in there, that's fine. Okay. So now, let that dry for a second. While we're letting that dry, you might as well do the base, I suppose. So I use Agarest Dunes. we've used before. Warp Lightning Green. There's no stonework on here, so no stonework, so we're just going to use those. So we're going to start with the Agarus. And basically this is everything other than the grass. So in terms of one of the bases, this is probably one of the easiest I've painted. Or I will have painted, although it's not super easy getting to certain parts of this. Get right in those crevices, make sure the paint is going down there. Oof. Just make sure we go around all of that. Last bit of the Agarus. Okay. Warp Lightning Green. Now what's quite cool about the green that I've used on Nikkit is not as bright as this, so the grass will still kind of shine through, as it were. But I do quite like a vivid, almost cartoon look to my super fancy brawl miniatures. You can certainly dull them down by using different primers or mixing paints. Plenty of ways to change that up. As we go through the base. And then we can crack on with the gems. I think we're done. Should be really cool. That's it. So base done. I'm really quick when you do it. Like so. Make sure I'm cleaning my brush as always before we get that. So we're gonna need a red, Blood Angels red. I'm gonna need a nice bright blue, Telesar blue. I'm gonna need a nice yellow, Iyanden yellow. So they're the three we're gonna use for the 3 gems. We'll start with the blue, with the Telesar blue. Which is this one here. forgetting the other side. The blue done. Then we move on to the yellow. I end in yellow. The bottom, his bottom left. And finally, Blood Angel's red. For the third gem. Yeah, there's the 3 gems. Now, a few little things to touch up on. So, grab that Creed Camo back. What was that? Done that. Not too much brush, paint on the brush, sorry. And just finish off this. And the same over here, I think. Just more like it. I think that was all the bits I missed. Smarten up that bit a bit. There we go. Cool. And the very last touch is to make those gems gems. So to do this, change brush again. I'm going to use some Ard Coat, which gives it a kind of sheen. It's basically a varnish, a gloss varnish. Just make sure they'll dry before we get painting onto them. And then I think, oh, hang on, I've got to do the black eyes of the monster yet as well. So let's get this onto there. To there, to there, to there, there. Is that red? Yep. Not quite dry, that red one. And rather than ruin the yellow, there we go. So I'll have a kind of glossy look to them now. Ard Coat, and then finally switching brushes back again, getting the Black Templar. We're going to finish off with the eyes, and then we're going to get the base around the base, sorry, and that'll be just under an hour and a half for a completed Nikkit, which isn't too bad. There we go, got the black eyes now of the creature, which is Nikkit. Not happy about. Oh, I just noticed another bit. This is the problem when you start, especially when you start to use video. You see little bits and you go, So Volupus pink, 2 bits. See, if you look down there, you see that little white speck. Grab that. And then also, this just needs a bit of pink rather than its pure metal look. And also, there's a little bit there as well to grab. And this is the beauty. You can just do this afterwards if you do spot anything. Beautiful. Right, Nikkit is done. We need to just finish his base. So a nice bigger brush. Get a nice black standard paint. I'm using Abaddon black. Bit of water to let it flow. Going using the side of the brush to these are big bases. I forgot how big these bases were. And there we go. Nikkit is now complete. Another great model. Another fun paint job. He's to go alongside. Now, notice here I've accidentally scratched off this, but this is to go beside Jack LeBeau, which I've got a video on, which I did the live stream before. And then the final person from this expansion, which I've lost now. No, I haven't. Here we are. Is Lily. Lily. Little Y. Awesome. Now, if you have a look, quite a lot of black, brown, metallic. I don't think she'll take too much effort to paint up. So she's going to be in the next live stream, and hopefully that'll be a little less time. Again, just being based, primed with Wraithbone. In other painting I've been doing, we've got this monstrosity, which is the Leviathan from Joan of Arc, which has been quite fun to paint. Getting quite quick, and it's all contrast paints again. Just a bit of a water effect there as well with the waves. So he's pretty cool and massive. Right, so let's see if I can do this without. Oh, zoom in again. So there's Nikkit. Pretty happy with how it turned out. It's definitely a character I want to play. So there's 3 gorbos, you can see those. Front and center as well. Okay, I'm gonna leave the live stream now for this time round. Thanks for joining, those people that joined, Apples and Judge Dredd. Hopefully questions answered, but join us next time for another live stream of painting Super Fancy Brawl. Probably won't now be for a little while, probably for a few weeks, but I will be getting back onto them. Need to finish off Lily, then that is the Hot Trick set complete. Then I've done some Tentacles off camera. So some Tentacles done, and then we'll move on to finish Sir King Alistar, and Alchemy, I think, is in that one. And then we've got, and then definitely want to do, not Suzanne. I've forgotten her name. Senjin? The feline martial artist. So I desperately want to get that one painted up as well. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep painting.